Again, this time we want to talk about defining general angles and use radian measure in section 9.2. I thought I'd take out my face from the video so that you don't get so scared when you do this, and give myself a little bit more room here. So hopefully you will enjoy this. Stay calm. You guys are doing great. Let's learn and continue learning until we finally solve this world problem that I'm sure they're working on. So let's talk about angles in standard position. Angles in standard position, a coordinate plane is an angle that can be formed by fixing one ray called the initial side. Okay, and we're going to move that right here, called the initial side, and the rotating the other ray called the terminal side. Okay, and I'm going to move that over here about the vertex. So we're talking about this here. There's the initial, there's the terminal side. And then let's talk about what is the angle. An angle, okay, an angle is in standard position, okay, which we're going to drag it and put it right over here, is in standard position if its vertex is at the origin and the initial side lies. Let's fix that for you. Initial side lies, and let's put that over here, okay, where it should be, because it didn't copy very well. Okay, lies on the positive x-axis, and that is very important. I'm going to highlight that for you. You may want to do that, which we're talking about the x-axis, and that's where it starts from, right there. Okay? So now let's go on and let's try some examples with this. Okay? We're going to draw angles in standard position, and we're going to start drawing an angle with the given measure in standard position. So we're going to go 240. So let's use this tool right here to create a line. Okay, and remember this is 0, 90, 180. So the angle is going to go from here. Okay, if it ever works. Let me do this. It's going to go here. And we're going to draw it from here. Let's say it's about like that. All right. And remember that we're talking about the angle that goes from here to here, which is 240 degrees. So if we want to draw the angle with the given measure in standard precision, it is, there it is, an angle 240. But I want you to pay close attention because this is important for the next part. If you draw a right triangle here, okay, and if I take this and I just move it a little bit so that it's there, okay, and I draw a right angle right in here, okay, and let's erase a little bit of it. So we're going to erase this part of it so it looks like a right angle. All right. And remember that that angle in here now which I'm going to put a different color, that angle from here to here is 60 degrees, which is very important. So the way to get that, okay, is the terminal side. So you have 240 and you get 60. Well, how did we do that? By drawing the right triangle, and there's another way. And the other way is take 240 and you subtract 180, because we're talking about, okay, because we're talking about in relationship to the x-axis, the position of the x-axis. Now let's talk about 500 degrees. Well, 500 degrees has to go all the way around to 360. Then it has to go another 90 plus another 50, so that we can have 360 plus 140 will give me my 500 degrees, which looks like that, right? So if I were to go here and I were to mark this, okay, the initial distance is right here. That is 500 degrees, because that's what we went. We went once around plus another 140. Well, how much is the angle from here to here? Well, the angle from there to there is how much? Well, what we have is 140 degrees. All right. So now let's see how we got 140 degrees. Well, the first thing you do is we're going to take the 500, right? And we're going to subtract 360, right? And that should give me how much? If I subtract it from there, don't I get 140 degrees? So my angle here, okay, in standard position is all the way here, but the angle that I'm referring to, okay, is 140 degrees by doing this part. Let's clean that up a little bit. So how about what happens if now we want to deal with a negative, okay, 50 degrees, okay? Well, negative means now you're going in clockwise direction. So 50 degrees is going to be right about here. So let's draw a line. So we're going to draw a line from here down. If I get it to start, okay, it's going to be right about like that. All right. And I'm going to draw the negative 50 right here, because this angle is negative 50 degrees. Okay. The terminal side of that is what? It's coming from here to here. So because negative 50 is negative, the terminal side is 50 clockwise from the positive x-axis. And there you go. We have drawn angles with the given measure in standard position. If we want to talk about coterminal angles, okay, in example 1, the angles 500 and 140 are coterminal, okay, or coterminal. We're going to just keep that like that. So in examples 1, and let's take this and put it in the right place. It goes right here. So in example 1, the angles 500 and 140 are coterminal because their terminal, let's highlight that, their terminal sides coincide. They're the same. An angle coterminal with a given angle can be found by adding or subtracting multiples of 360. Okay? And that is important for you to know. So when we do coterminal angles, the key is multiples of 360. All right? So let's do example number 2. Find one positive. Again, let's highlight that. One positive angle and one negative angle that are coterminal with negative 45 and 395. Okay, so there are many such angles, and it depends on what multiple of 360 is added or subtracted. So let's start with this one, A. All right? So if we have A, which is negative, and I'm going to draw that here with this line here. I'm going to first draw a negative 45, and it's going to go like, oops, let's go back and undo that because I don't want a highlighter. I want a pen. Okay, and let's make that color. So let's make it like this. And we want to do this. All right. And we want to make that, okay, let's start typing over here. All right. So we want to do negative 45. All right. So that's negative 45 is going to be right here. Negative 45 degrees because it's going opposite direction. Okay. And so we've got to go all the way past here. So that negative 45, I've got to do minus 45. Okay. And I want to add 360. So that equals 315 degrees. Didn't seem like it recorded the second part of this video, so I'm finishing it up here. Okay. The last video stopped at 315. I want to show you that that's the positive angle. Now I need to draw the negative angle, which I'm going to do over here in black. So to do the negative angle, I'm going to do minus 45 minus 360, which gives me minus 405 degrees. Okay. To draw the angles, okay, I'm going to first draw the negative 45. So to do the negative 45, I'm going to go here like this, okay, and then I'm going to go here, okay, and I'm going to go here to type, and I'm going to go here to this one, if I could find my cursor, all right, and it's going to be negative 45 right in here, all right. So there is my negative 45 degrees, okay, and because it's going this way. Now, that gives me, okay, a negative 45 plus 360 is 315, okay? So to find my negative angle, I'm just going to go all the way around this way. Let's make it a different color, okay, because that's the negative 45, okay? So negative 45 there, but to go positive now, or a negative part, because I started with negative, is I'm going to go all the way around. Okay, I'm going to pass, and I'm going to go to here. Okay, and that gives me the negative 405 degrees. Okay, so there is my positive angle, and this one is a 0, by the way. Don't let that confuse you. And now to do B, I've got to do 395. Let's change this to this color, and let's make it like this. Well, to do 395, I've got to go all the way, and I've got to start in my 0. Oops, wrong thing I chose. I got to do this thing. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around, okay, past the 360 and a little bit more. All right, and let's draw a line for that. So that'll give me this distance here. Okay, and that'll give me my 395 degrees. Okay, which is what we're starting out with. Well, with 395 and I subtract 360, okay, that equals 35 degrees. Okay, so that's that little space right in here, 35 degrees. Okay, to find my negative angle, I start with 395. But if I subtract just 365, I come up with here. So I got to do multiples of that. So I got to do 2 times 360, which is equal to 395 minus 720, right? Because that's 720. And that gives me negative 325 degrees. All right? So now that negative 325 degrees, let's change the color. And that negative 325 degrees comes from here all the way to here. And that gives me minus 325 degrees. So there you have it. You have 2 things. You draw your angles in standard form, and you have finding the coterminal angles. Your homework assignment, I'm going to show it to you right now, is right here. It's going to be 9.2 practice A, questions 1 through 7. And you're going to do the odd ones, 1, 3, 5, and 7. You're welcome to do them all. When we do part 2, we'll be finishing off this part. And there you have it for today's lesson. Hopefully you are doing well. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed. You have any questions, email me, and I'll be happy to help you.